My name is Kerry Brown, and welcome to Hang Out with Coach Kerry. Today I have an expert interview that I am really excited about because you are watching this either, you are either watching this on Hangouts on Air, or you might be listening to the podcast. But today what we're going to share with you is why this Google Plus platform and all of that is the place to be, and why you want to play in their sandbox so that it will help you with your small business. So today I am really excited to have expert on this particular information. Her name's Debi Talbert, and Debi hails from Palm Beach, Florida. So as most of you know, I hail from Victoria, British Columbia on the very, very west coast, and she hails from the very, very east coast. So we're sort of almost opposite ends, aren't we?
We are.
So let me just tell you a little bit about Debi, and then we're going to get started, because I know you're going to want to listen to the very end of this episode, because there's going to be some key things that you're going to want to learn. So first of all, Debi is a law of attraction facilitator and a Google Plus trainer for small business owners, coaches, and trainers. So likely people just like you who want to know how to get their message out to the marketplace and how to engage them. And if that's you, then this episode is absolutely for you. She discovered the Hangouts on Air platform with a group of colleagues about 2 years ago, and in that process, in fact, they were looking at all different platforms, and they decided they were going to learn a little bit about this one so that they could communicate with each other. And through that process, she kept diving deeper and deeper into the possibilities of it, and well, then she decided, well, the next thing she had to do was start her own Hangout show, which she has. And then in addition to that, she's now become a trainer, and she's been teaching people. So you can you can find out more about Debi by going to Hangout with Debi, and it's DEBI. So hangoutwithdebi.com. So welcome, Debi, to my Hangout show. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Kerry. I am so excited to be here because this is exciting. This new technology, it's not really new, but it's this newer platform, and it's a very exciting platform for people, especially the small business owner and coaches and people that are already teaching or training something in some form via, whether they do it in seminars or they have people come to them locally. They can actually expand what they're doing, learn how to use this platform.
Absolutely, and I even think there's a market for people that don't necessarily even do training, but they can build their brand by going in and sharing their expertise in some way as well. So the possibilities are endless for any small business owner of how they can use this. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell the listeners today what they're going to hear today from you, and what they're going to take away, and then I've got some good questions for you, so I hope you're ready for me.
I'm ready.
Good. So the 3 takeaways for the audience, and this is why you want to listen to the end, is why you should take Hangouts on Air and the Google platform seriously. You're going to learn the 5 key platforms to use. So 5 key platforms to use. I didn't even know there were that many, so this is going to be good learning for me. And how to use it as how to use these platforms as a lead generation tool, a community building, and a personal branding marketing stream. So, without any further delay, Debi, tell us why we should take Google Hangouts and the Google platform and all of this seriously.
Thank you, Kerry. Well, the number one reason you should take this platform seriously is because it is owned and operated by Google, which is the largest search engine. And most people use Google when they go to search for something.
Yeah.
And then also Google is actually owns YouTube now, and that's the 2nd largest search engine when people go to search for something. So Google actually likes it when you play in their sandbox. And the Google Hangouts, Google Communities, your profile page and your business page, as well as YouTube, those are all parts of Google's sandbox, so to speak. So when you play in their sandbox and you create engagement with people, then you get a higher possibility of getting on page 1 of the search engine when people are searching out something. And I don't know about you, but most people, myself included, we don't really go past page 2 when we're looking for something.
I go rarely past page 1, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So if you so if you take these platforms and you learn how to use them and you create engagement in them, then you're going to get yourself ranked higher within the search engine. So that's really the number one reason why you learn this platform, regardless of how many people are actually coming over here to it yet. People will still be able to find what you're doing via their Google searches.
Right. Well, it's very interesting. I remember when Google Plus first came on the scene. My response is probably pretty typical to most small business owners, which is, "Oh my goodness, yet again another thing to learn." And I and I avoided it, and I avoided it, and I used Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Most of our audience are already engaging with me on one of those channels. So the thought of having another one really didn't sink in with me until I was introduced to it through, obviously, our mutual friend we have and mentor, Michael Lozier. And I started paying attention. I'd heard a little bit, and I'd already created a profile, but I really hadn't done much. So this is really good information for those people who really want to be, for once, maybe on the leading edge. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, totally. You can be on the leading edge of this, and especially as a small business owner, because you are the one that makes all the decisions. So it's not like you then have to go to somebody else and talk to somebody else and encourage them to actually even take a look at this. You can just decide, okay, I like this platform, this is what I'm going to do.
Right, exactly, which is exactly what I did and have embraced it now. So I'm a model student here, Debbie.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Well, you were the one that launched me on my very first one, if you recall on that. So pretty key. I'm grateful for that. Okay, so we know why it's important because Google, we know it's the highest, it's the most used search engine, and the fact that it owns YouTube, and the fact that any time you record something, immediately gets uploaded to YouTube. So that's an amazing piece of efficiency, in my opinion. Being a business coach, I'm always looking for efficiencies, and I don't have to go and then upload a link somewhere and do that. It just automatically is. So that's great. So tell me some different ways then people can use this Google platform, this Google Plus platform and Hangouts. What are different ways they can use them?
Okay, well, the ways that you can actually use them is, first of all, you know how most of the time, like when you get your, like you got this example right here, this phone, your iPhone or your whatever your smartphone is that you have, and you get it and you're all excited about it, and you look at it and you realize, okay, oh my God, this thing does like 50 things, right?
Right.
And you're kind of like, oh, how am I going to figure out how to use 50 things on this phone, and do I really need 50 things? And eventually, once you understand it and comprehend it, you find yourself pretty much using maybe 5 of them. Like, if you're still in my generation, you use it to make phone calls. So my kids don't use it for phone calls, but so you maybe use 5 things on it, right? And so Google's Plus's platform, they have all kinds of things and items and then that you can do on it. However, what I've figured out how to do is take the 5 key components of it, which is basically your personal profile. And then if you're running a business, you're going to want a business page. And then taking the circles, which is basically Facebook's concept of friends. However, the circles have a lot more power than Facebook's concept of friends, because you can take your circles and create them into little mini marketing funnels, or kind of like lead people to speak to based on conversations that they're having. And then you build a community and create your own community, as well as join communities, which is similar to Facebook's groups. However, within the communities, you can also create categories within the communities. And then you can do a show like we're doing here, a hangout show, where you can showcase what you have to offer, or you can bring on customers. You can use it as a teaching platform. So there's you take all of those components, and then like you said, it's automatically put into their YouTube, the data, and so then as long as you have the basics done on your YouTube channel, your about section with some keywords in it, you really don't need to become a YouTube channel proficiently expert, which I'm not. I just have my basics set up right, and then I let the Hangout fill in the rest of it. So you can take that and turn it into a lead generation funnel, or you can take it and allow people, you can use it, allow your customers to get to know you better, and you can get them to ask you questions, and so you can find out what it is that they want, and you can solve their problems for them. So you can use it as a branding as well as turning it into a marketing funnel.
Very interesting. Well, based on the encouragement from yourself and from Michael, I created a community now. So for those of you who are watching this or listening to this, you can go to Kerry Brown's Small Business Coaching Community. That's the name of my community on Google+, and ask to join. And you'll get lots of inspiration. You'll get notifications of other things. And what's interesting, Debbie, I'm also posting some things on my website, some free resources, of which the links from my Google Plus community are directing back to my website. And I'm sure that Google likes it when I link a Google community to a website. And it's also a way to drive traffic to my website as well. So, you're right. There are so many different ways to use it well, I guess it could be overwhelming if people are already involved in other things. So, walk us through kind of the first step, then maybe the second step, then maybe the third step that you would, if you were coaching an entrepreneur, a small business owner, coach, someone who says, okay, Debbie, I'm ready to get started. What would be my very first step to take? What would that first step be?
All right, well, that's an excellent question, Kerry. The first step would be, first of all, is your own personal profile. Start there, and in your About section, put within it some of the keywords that you're looking for people to find, that are like your targeted keywords that you've done research on and realize that's how people are going to find you best.
Right.
And then describe yourself and fill in all sections of it, because it gives you opportunities to put in links to your other social media sites. You can put in links to your websites. You can let people know where you're also, like if you're blogging and you're also posting on other people's blogs, where else you contribute out there in the online world. So totally take advantage of everything that they offer you, first of all, in your personal profile. And then the second step would be to begin viewing your circles as more like mini databases. So when you create a circle, a person will get a notification that you have put them into a circle. However, they will not be notified what you named that circle. So you can use the circle's names to leverage your database and how you would want to communicate with specific people. And if you keep your circles under 100 people, you can actually also send an email notification to those circles when you send notifications to a specific circle.
So, Debbie, can you give people maybe who can say, okay, well, I wouldn't know what to name a circle. What would be maybe a couple of examples if you were starting out, a coach or, someone, I mean, obviously they own a small business as well. Anyone, what would you encourage them as their very first, like the first few categories or circles, names of circles?
The names of the circles, right. Okay, well, so let's say, for my scenario, what I do is I have a circle for people that have an interest in law of attraction. So if there is a post that I've seen and come across, or they're actively in a community that's about law of attraction, then if I like something they had to say and I'm finding them intriguing, then I would put them in a circle around law of attraction, and I would call that one law of attraction interest.
Okay.
Because then when you were going to talk about around law of attraction, you could actually add this circle, and people would be acceptable and in wanting to receive that information because that's a topic that's of interest to them.
Right. Okay. What would be a second circle then, just as an example? Maybe something separate from that.
Yeah. So something separate from that is if you also want to take advantage of this platform and use it as a learning tool for yourself. So then you would make a circle of someone that you would want to learn from, as well as maybe even like people that you would consider your competition. So you could put a circle of that so you could pay attention to and see what they are putting out there into the marketplace, and how can you also help your customers in the way that their customers are being helped in. So you're going to have information and knowledge on what else is out there from people within your industry.
Right. Okay. So you could have one that could be called mentors, for an example, and one that could be called competition. And because they don't know you've named it as that, they just think you've added them to your circles. Ah, very good. Very good.
Exactly.
Excellent. Yeah, and I heard you say the key is to keep your circles under 100.
Yes, the key is to keep your circles under 100 and to also have highly engaging people within the circles. So you're going to
Okay.
want to seek out and look for people that are commenting and communicating on other people's stuff. Because one of the keys that Google likes is engagement within your content, because then that
Right.
means people are liking what you have to say.
So tell me the distinction between following someone and putting them in a circle. Or might you always do both, or what? When would you advise a client to make that distinction?
Well, actually, for me, I just always use those. The time that it would begin to matter is your max amount of people you can have in a circle is 5,000. So if you
Right.
find yourself reaching that, then you may want to take out, say, your competition or mentors and turn them into someone you're following. So then you
Right.
could still have that circle and leverage the benefits of the circles for your business.
Right. So if they're in the following, then they still arrive in your stream, so you can still see what they're doing, but
Right.
you don't have the opportunity to be able to market to them. Okay, got it. That's great. Good.
Excellent.
So first step was to get your profile and start putting people in circles. What would maybe be the second step?
Well, after you're putting the people into circles, then I would highly recommend you begin participating in communities. So you would want to seek out some communities where you feel your ideal customer would be.
Right. Right.
So look for some of the names. Again, you're going to want to use your keywords also, because you yourself, if you name your community a keyword rich, then that also gets found in the search engines. So seek out under the search in Google Plus communities that people would actively participate in or be interested in topics that would be your ideal customers. So then I would recommend you start becoming engaging in those communities. When you see somebody's comment that you like, then actually make a comment on it, not just plus one it, but actually put your input and your thoughts into what they had to say, what if it's true for you, because that's going to cause people, a lot of people don't make, so if you're someone that's making a comment, then that person is going to go back and check you out and see who they're
Right.
about and look into who you are.
Right. So okay, so then what's our maybe our third step as we kind of get kind of close to wrapping up here. What would be the third step that people you would recommend that they do?
I would actually recommend that they actually create a community of their own. They
Okay.
create their own community and start inviting people. And even if you already have stuff going on in Facebook and Twitter and other areas, encourage people to come and check out your community and join your community. And then offer something to them within the community that's like, you only get it if you're in that community, because you can make them categories. You could put a category of, like, say, a 30-day challenge for something, and you could put some audios in there you've already done and offer those to people that are in the community as like a little secret gift to get, or a gift to get if you join your community.
Right. Good. Good. Excellent ideas. Wow. We may have to do a Google platform 201 call as well to go a little deeper into this. Because there's a lot, obviously, isn't there?
There is. But once you get it set up the right way, the foundation, then it really doesn't take a lot of your time throughout your day to
Right.
do this.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Debbie, what are your maybe last final thoughts in closing for people that they need to know about this whole playing in Google Sandbox and why they like it? So you can encourage them and inspire them that once they've watched this or listened to this, that they take some immediate action on it.
Well, actually, my thoughts are it's Google, so it's here to stay. So it is worth your time, effort, and energy to take the time to figure it out and set your foundation up right and use it as a powerful marketing funnel for yourself, because it's going to be here to stay. And I see it as expanding further and further, as opposed to like going away. I think it's going to expand further and further. And I would highly recommend that once you kind of get this going, and if you're not afraid to be in front of the camera like we are here, to really look into adding to what you're doing a show of your own.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, and that was a great recap. And what I would say, just as an encouragement for everyone, is that, for a number of years, I've been told that, video is the way to go. Video, video, video. And I tried a bit of it. I even took a couple of courses on it. And the piece that got in my way was, well, I had to decide what it was going to be. I had to make sure that the location was right. I had to get a videographer. I had to get all things set up. There were too many moving parts for me to be able to do it fairly quickly and simply. And this was so easy for me to be able to do. I mean, yes, there were some technical pieces of which, Debbie, you helped me out with, which I'm forever grateful. But it was pretty easy to do, and I think that the community watching this on Hangouts on Air or wherever this episode will end up being, whether they'll watch it maybe at hangoutwithcoachkerry.com, is that it's pretty forgiving because it feels very live and it feels very fresh and non-static, and I think that's where the engagement happens with it. So I would encourage everyone to put their toe in the water and take a stab at it. Well, Debbie, thank you so much for your time today. And as I said, we may have to do a second to this to go a little bit deeper on some of these aspects if you're willing to do that. Remember, for everyone, if you want to find out more about what Debbie does, you can find her at hangoutwithdebi.com, and Debbie is DEBI. And you can check out previous episodes of my Hangouts on Air at Hangout with Coach Kerry, and Kerry is KERRY.com. That's hangoutwithcoachkerry.com. There's lots of great resources and tools there, and don't forget to download my free ebook that is available on there, How to Get Out of Overwhelm and Maximize Your Efforts for Maximum Results. So thank you again for your time listening. I know as an entrepreneur, a small business owner, time is precious, so I really do appreciate you taking this time, and I know that your business will be better for it. So until next time, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.